Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to your Senate chamber this afternoon. We apologize for starting late. It's exactly 1:23 in the afternoon. Before we begin our fourth regular Senate session, I would like to ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Presente.
Senator Cruz,
Here.
Madam President,
Here.
Senator Hofschneider, Senator King Neighbors,
Here.
Senator Magofnia,
Present.
Senator Manglonya Donald,
Present.
Senator Manglonya Paul,
Here.
Senator Midola.
Here.
Madam President, all 9 members are present.
With all 9 members present, we have established the sufficient, the total quorum that we needed for this afternoon. So we're able to conduct our business. And before we proceed, we are also live on cable TV, channel 23, and live on the CNMI Legislature's YouTube channel, which will be shared on the legislature's Facebook page. Also assisting us this afternoon is our Senate Legal Counsel, Joe Bermudez, our Senate Clerk, Dolores Bermudez, our Senate Journal Clerk, Shaniel Borja, Senate Legislative Assistant, Jolene Duenas Tagawell, our IT Assistant, Delbert Camacho, Sergeant at Arms, Benjamin Terlahi. Thank you for assisting us this afternoon. Moving on to item B of today's agenda under public comment. We are now open for public comment. Please state your name and the entity you are representing. If you have any written comment, to please give it to our Sergeant at Arms to make it part of our documentation for this afternoon's meeting. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. Good afternoon. Buenos dias to all of you. As usual, I like to smile. Seems like we're going to have a very uh, uh, nice session this afternoon. Hopefully, it doesn't bring us all the way to 4 p.m. At any rate, Madam President, uh, my name is Oscar Mbabauta. For the record, I am the Special Assistant for the Administration of Governor Palacios and Governor Apateng. I came here and appeared before you and all of you, the members of the 23rd Senate, to express the Governor Palacios and Lieutenant Governor Apateng's desire and to extend their deep appreciation for the effort that the 23rd Senate, especially coming from the Senate President and through the unending effort and support of your EAGI Chairwoman Senator Selena Babauta in addressing the administration nominees moving forward. With that being said, the administration, Governor Palacios and Lieutenant Governor Apateng, wishes to extend their full sincere sidusmasi to you and to all the members of your 23rd Senate for the endorsement of the nominees that we are to uh, approve this afternoon. So that being said, thank you so much, and we're looking forward for a quorum before these nominees to be confirmed this afternoon. Thank you so much, and buenos dias, Madam President and members. Jesus Masi.
Sidusmasi, Mr. Babauta. We're still open for public comments on any of the agenda items this afternoon. Anybody? Okay. Please state your name and the entity you are representing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to come before the honorable members of the Senate and for the opportunity to be with you today. I am Sonia Camacho. I am the Director of Courts for the CNMI Judiciary, and I am here on behalf of Chief Justice Alexandro C. Castro and Presiding Judge Roberto C. Naraha to offer the judiciary's comments on House Bill 23-115 HD1 HS1 on page 6 of today's agenda. And our comments are by way of a letter that was sent to both houses of the legislature dated September 17th, 2024, if I may. To the Honorable Edith De Leon Guerrero and the Honorable Edmund S. Villagomez, Dear Madam President and Mr. Speaker, we write to express serious concerns regarding Section 703E of the House Budget Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2025, which prohibits the expenditure of any funds, including those obtained from outside sources, for costs related to judges or justices pro tempore. This prohibition encompasses salaries, travel, lodging, and other necessary expenses. The Senate Committee on Fiscal Affairs has amended this section to allow expenditures relative to any cases being conducted remotely by electronic means, and even with this exception, Section 703E threatens the impartiality and efficiency of cases before the courts of the Commonwealth. Section 703E directly contradicts Article 4, Section 9 of the Commonwealth Constitution, which grants the Chief Justice the authority to designate, as needed, active or former justices or judges from the Commonwealth or certain other jurisdictions to serve as pro tempore justices or judges. This provision is essential to ensuring the continued and efficient operation of the courts, particularly when regular judges are unavailable or have conflicts of interest. By eliminating funding for judges and justices pro tempore, Section 703E effectively prevents the judiciary from exercising this constitutional authority. Without the ability to pay or cover expenses for the pro tempores, the courts will be unable to address case backlogs or handle matters in which regular judges are disqualified. This will severely impede the administration of justice and deny timely resolution of cases to the people of the Commonwealth. The prohibition in Section 703E thus undermines a critical judicial function and violates the constitutional mandate that empowers the Chief Justice to appoint judges and justices pro tempore. It places the judiciary in a position where it cannot fulfill its duty to provide justice in a timely and efficient manner. We respectfully urge the legislature to reconsider Section 703E and to ensure that the judiciary retains its ability to appoint and compensate judges and justices pro tempore. This is necessary to uphold the constitutional framework and maintain the effective functioning of our courts. Additionally, Section 707C of the House Budget Appropriations Bill for fiscal year 2025 remits $641,011 to the Second Senatorial District from the current funds available in the Justice Center Fund, and the remaining funds to the Department of Public Safety. However, the Senate Committee on Fiscal Affairs has removed this language. The judiciary respectfully asks that the removal of this language be maintained in the fiscal year 2025 budget. In recent years, the judiciary has established treatment courts, such as drug court and mental health court docket, and is in the process of exploring the creation of a veterans court. The evolving needs of these treatment courts demand more space, which the Justice Center Fund can support. Importantly, the funds in this revolving account are not limited to Saipan and the judicial branch. They will also be used to construct a new courthouse on the island of Tinian, as well as improvements to the Rota Centron Justicia, and to support the construction of new facilities for the Executive Branch's Office of Attorney General and the Office of the Public Defender. If these funds are remitted and depleted, it is unclear when, if ever, these important initiatives can move forward. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We are confident that we can work together to address this issue in a way that ensures the continued administration of justice in the Commonwealth. Si Duas Maasi and Olamwai, Alexandro C. Castro, Chief Justice, and Roberto C. Naraha, Presiding Judge. Courtesy copy to Governor Arnold Palacios, Lieutenant Governor David Apatang, and myself, the Director of Courts. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Camacho, for your comment this afternoon. We are still open for public comments on any of the agenda items. Anybody else? Okay, we are officially closing this section of our agenda this afternoon. Moving on to item C, reading and approval of the journal. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item C, we have Senate Journal 23-38, third day, fourth regular session dated September 6, 2024, on our agenda for adoption and approval, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Journal number 23-38 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Senate Journal 23-38 is hereby adopted. Moving on to item D, messages from the governor. Clerk?
Madam President, we have 9 on our agenda, 23, 327 to 335.
Any comments from the members? None. Moving on to item E, communications from the judiciary. There is none. Item F, communications from the heads of executive departments. There is none. Item G, communications from the House. Clerk?
We have 5 on our agenda, Madam President, 23, 150 to 154.
Any comments from the members? None. Moving on to item H, communications from the Senate. Clerk?
We have 9, 23, 513 to 521, Madam.
Any comments from the members? Moving on to item I, communications from the Washington delegate. There is none. Item J, unfinished business. There is none. Item K, pre-file abuse initiatives, local abuse and resolutions. I would now like to recognize Senator Paul A. Manglonia for number 2 on the agenda.
This is Marcia, Madam Press. I would like to officially introduce Senate Commemorative Resolution 2307.
Thank you, Senator Paul. And for myself, under item 1, I would like to introduce Senate Resolution 23-27 to acknowledge and commend Joseph Diaz for his principal contributions to the Youth Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands and the entire community as a basketball coach. And also in item 3, Senate Resolution 23-28, requesting the U.S. Congress to ensure fiscal stability of the U.S. territories, Medicaid, and CHIP programs. Moving on to item L, introduction of abuse initiatives, local abuse and resolutions. I recognize Senator Selena Babauta.
Cesar Smase, Madam President, colleagues, it is not on the agenda, but I would like to formally introduce a joint resolution, Senate joint resolution. But before I do so, I would like to make some comments. Para sinaninang, imanyalong kilili ni man presente gini, si aning dan si Jessica, ifamilan mizo siha, i-empleado niya gini ni district office, iasagawa niya as Andrea Cunanan Sablon, ifamagun mizo as Charlene, Diane, Barbara, Jessie, and Patricia. Tatkilo na onro zan onso na pribileho, zan san magubzo para bayo introduce STE Senate Joint Resolution 2308. Encuenta gini ni komunidad gini gi sangkatan siya na Islas Marianas. Cosa que sinya ben expresa y agradecimiento por el sacrificio niya y servicio niya zan todo y ayudo niya si kilili ni lahin mizo, telon mizo zan sainan mizo. Como primer na mailihi na delegado gini ni sangkatan siya na Islas Marianas para Estados Unidos. Therefore, guests, family, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to formally introduce Senate Joint Resolution 2308 to commemorate the distinguished career and invaluable contributions of Gregorio Kilili Camacho Sablan, the first elected delegate of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands to the United States Congress, and I welcome other sponsors. Furthermore, I respectfully request the floor leader to place this resolution on today's resolution calendar for immediate action. Thank you.
Cesar Smase, Senator Babauta. I recognize Senator Karina Magofnia.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to formally introduce an unnumbered Senate bill to establish the doctrine of waste in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands and for other purposes. And I welcome any of the members to co-sponsor the legislation should they choose to. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Magofnia. And also I'd like for you to make the proper motion for the placement of Senate Joint Resolution 2308 on today's resolution calendar.
Thank you, Madam President. I offer a motion to place Senate Joint Resolution 2308 on today's calendar for action. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion to place Senate Joint Resolution 23-08 on today's resolution calendar for adoption, and it has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Senate Joint Resolution 2308 is on today's resolution calendar.
Madam President,
Recognize Senator Paul.
since it has been calendared, if there's no objection, can we have the committee of the whole introduce the resolution?
No objections.
No objection.
No
Thank you.
objection? Thank you. Thank you, Senator Babauta. Thank you, Senator Paul. Okay, moving on to item M, reports of standing committees. I now recognize the floor leader to address items number 4 and item number 5 for the confirmation of the nominees.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item M, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-106 from the Committee on EAGI, reporting on the executive appointment of Mr. Richard Dela Cruz Farrell to serve as a member of the Civil Service Commission representing the Second Senatorial District. So moved.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-106. It has been seconded. Any discussions from the members? Recognize Senator Selena Babauta.
Thank you, Madam President. Before we proceed with the adoption of EAGI Standing Committee Report number 2306 and 2307, I would like to respectfully request that we suspend Rule 8, Section 5.3, and I will provide an explanation for that. Whereas Senate Rule 8, Section 5.3 provides that a person appointed to the position requiring the advice and consent of the Senate shall submit an official drug test result not more than 30 days old. Colleagues, Governor Arnold Palacios originally nominated both Mr. John Diego Atto and Mr. Richard Farrell on May 23rd and April 29th, respectively. Their initial nomination was subsequently withdrawn and then renominated, and according to the governor's letter, it was due to time constraints. As chair, when they were renominated, I did not require them to resubmit their drug test results. When they initially were nominated, they complied with all the supporting documents, including providing a negative drug test result. And also for the reasons being that both Mr. Attal and Mr. Farrell live on the Second Senatorial District, where there are no drug testing facilities, and they would have to incur an exorbitant cost to fly here, to take the test, and then fly back without any assurances that this body would confirm their nomination. And that is the explanation. Therefore, I respectfully request the floor leader to suspend Rule 8, Section 5.3 in order to timely consider the committee reports before this body today.
I now recognize the floor leader for the proper suspension of rules.
Thank you, Madam President. I now offer a motion to suspend Rule 8, Section 5.3. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion to suspend Senate Rule 8, Section 5C. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Suspension of Rule 8, Section 5C is hereby accepted. And now I recognize the Chair of EAGI, Senator Babauta.
Thank you, Madam President. As to Standing Committee Report number 23-106, given Mr. Farrell's extensive experience as a classified employee in the Second Senatorial District, I believe he possesses an understanding of the challenges and opportunities facing our civil service employees, and his experiences will be invaluable to our civil service workforce. And the committee solicits the support of this body for the confirmation of Mr. Farrell's nomination to serve on the Civil Service Commission. Thank you, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any discussions from the members? Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Pungan.
Senator Cruz.
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider, Senator King Neighbor.
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonya Donald.
Yes.
Senator Manglonya Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mindiola.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 23-106 is hereby adopted and confirms Mr. Richard Dela Cruz Farrell to serve as a member of the Civil Service Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Recognized floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-107 from the Committee on EAGI, reporting on the executive reappointment of Mr. John Diego Attal to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Election Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Madam President, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-107 has been seconded. Any comments from the members? Recognize Senator Babauta.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee wishes to express its sentiments in Standing Committee Report number 23-107 for the affirmation and confirmation of Mr. John Diego Attal to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Election Commission. As a veteran in the United States Armed Forces, Mr. Attal's leadership abilities will help in contributing meaningful work to the Election Commission, and the committee respectfully requests this body to support the recommendations in Standing Committee Report number 23-107 for the confirmation of Mr. John Diego Attal. Thank you, and I yield.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any other comments from the members? We're good? All those in favor say aye for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-107.
Aye.
Nays? Standing Committee Report number 23-107 is hereby adopted and also confirms Mr. John Diego Attal to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Election Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Short recess, please. Thank you, members. We are back from our short recess. And so if there's no objection, members, I'd like to move on to item O under resolution calendar so that we could dispose Senate Joint Resolution 23-08. And no objections, members? I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item O, I offer a motion to adopt Senate Joint Resolution 23-08 to commemorate the distinguished career and invaluable contributions of Gregorio Kilili Camacho Sablan, the first elected delegate of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands to the United States Congress. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Joint Resolution number 23-08. It has been seconded. Discussions from the members. Recognize Senator Selena Babauta.
Cesar Smalls, Madam President. Before proceeding, I would like to express our heartfelt contributions to our delegate to the United States Congress, the Honorable Gregorio Kilili Camacho Sablan. Kilili has not only provided a direct voice for the people of the Commonwealth in the halls of our nation's capital, but also a critical one. Kilili's service in this role has been marked by unwavering dedication, exceptional leadership, and a deep commitment to the interests of the Northern Mariana Islands. Throughout his tenure as delegate, he has championed numerous initiatives that have significantly benefited the Commonwealth. These include holding the United States government to live up to its agreement in Article 7 of our covenant to achieve a progressively higher standard of living for its people as part of the American economic community. Some of the issues that Kilili has championed including securing federal funding for infrastructure projects, advocating for increased funding for education, and advancing legislation related to environmental protection, to name a few. These accomplishments have had a profound impact on the lives of the people of the Northern Mariana Islands. His tireless efforts have helped to lay the foundation to improve the quality of life for our citizens. His leadership skills, coupled with his deep understanding of the issues facing our Commonwealth, have made him a respected and influential figure in the halls of the United States Congress. Thank you, members, for supporting Senate Joint Resolution 23-08, and I'm ready to vote.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any other comments from the members? None? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Aye.
Senate Joint Resolution number 23-108 is hereby adopted by the Senate. Short recess, please. Thank you, members. We are back from our recess. And before we proceed on the remaining agenda items for this afternoon session, just for correction purposes on Section L, Introduction of Bills, Initiatives, Local Bills and Resolutions, Senate Joint Resolution 2308 should read as 2309. And that also correction goes to Section O under Resolution Calendar, which we recently adopted. Resolution item number 6, Senate Joint Resolution 2308 should read as 2309. Members, we're moving back to item M, reports of standing committees to address the remaining items on this particular section. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item M, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-103 from the Committee on Public Utilities, Transportation, and Communications, reporting on Senate Bill number 23-40 to mandate CUC to promulgate human resources regulations pursuant to the Administrative Procedure Act and for other purposes. So moved.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-103 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. Standing Committee Report number 23-103 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-104 from the Committee on Public Utilities, Transportation, and Communication, reporting on Senate Bill number 23-64 to improve the food security of the CNMI by amending 4 CMC subsection 8182 and 8183 to establish agricultural water usage rates for commercial farmers and ranchers and for other purposes. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-104 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. Standing Committee Report number 23-104 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-105 from the Committee on Public Utilities, Transportation, and Communications, reporting on House Bill number 23-99 to require all vessels and/or motorboats to possess and utilize a global positioning system (GPS). Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-105 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. Standing Committee Report number 23-105 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. And last, we have Standing Committee Report number 23-108 from the Committee on Fiscal Affairs, reporting on House Bill number 23-74 HD1 to impose an additional 3% tax on the yearly gross revenue of construction activities in excess of $250,000. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-108 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. Standing Committee Report number 23-108 is hereby adopted. Moving on to item N, reports of Special Conference Committee. There is none. Item O, Resolution Calendar. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item O, we have resolutions calendar for action, House Joint Resolution number 23-4 to recognize and acknowledge the national employer support of the Guard and Serve ESGR and the Guam CNMI ESGR State Committee and their volunteer members for their exceptional service and commitment to our servicemen and women, and to thank and appreciate our civilian employers for their utmost support to our service members by recognizing the week of August 12th through the 16th, 2024 as employer support of the Guard and Reserve Weeks. So moved.
There's a motion to adopt House Joint Resolution number 23-4. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. House Joint Resolution number 23-4 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Senate Resolution number 23-27 to acknowledge and commend Joseph Diaz for his principled contributions to the Youth Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands and the entire community as a basketball coach. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Resolution number 23-27. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nay. Senate Resolution number 23-27 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Senate Commemorative Resolution number 23-07 to acknowledge the Grand Lodge Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, specifically the Salem Elks Lodge Number 336, and its chairperson and members for their continued service and contribution. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Commemorative Resolution Number 23-07 has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nay. Senate Commemorative Resolution Number 2307 is hereby adopted. Floor Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have House Concurrent Resolution Number 23-3, HS1, to approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2025, beginning October 1st, 2024, and the ending on September 30, 2025. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt House Concurrent Resolution Number 23-3, HS1 has been seconded. Discussions from the members. Recognize Senator Donald Manglona.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to introduce a substitute to the House Concurrent Resolution. And basically what the committee had decided on is that we will take out the 1 million that the House had added on to DPL's projections. And this 1 million is for judgment. And we do have separate legislation in committee that we can act on separately. But being as how this 1 million was not identified by the administration, we did not want to include it as part of the projections. Additionally, there has been discussions with what the committee had decided to take with DPL. However, the concurrent resolution only approves that these are the amounts that we can expect from DPL's revenues. And so we're approving that there's up to 5.6 million that DPL is expected to receive in the next fiscal year. And that figure will be later addressed in the budget bill, which is also going to be up for today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you,
So
Senator Donald Manglona. Is that a motion?
Second.
There's a motion to do a substitute House Concurrent Resolution and has been seconded. Any discussions from the members? I recognize Senator Paul Manglona.
Thank you, Madam President. I have 2 copies of the Senate Substitute 1, but I'm just wondering which one are we voting on, because they're not exactly the same. And just want to verify. One has a line that says less MPLT 5 million, and another one that says less DPL $1. So which is the correct one? Oh, so this. Okay. All right. So I have no problem then if that's the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul Manglona. Any other discussions from the members?
Madam President.
Recognize Senator Jude Hoff-Schneider.
Thank you, Madam President. And just to go on record that primarily, if I ask the members to go to page 2 on line item 4, there is a mention from the agency or from the preambles of this that there is a such account that is available for FY 2025, and that gave rise to the soon to entertain budget bill for FY 2025, so that there is no misnomer or misconception of such, just in case there are some questions with regards to the agency's legislative or budget appropriation for FY 2025. And I know that this one is going to be discussed heavily on the budget bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hoff-Schneider. Any further comments from the members? None. I now recognize the floor leader to make the proper motion for the substitute House Concurrent Resolution.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I offer a motion to adopt House Concurrent Resolution Number 23-3, HS1, SS1. So moved.
Second.
There's a motion to adopt House Concurrent Resolution Number 23-3, HS1, SS1. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. House Concurrent Resolution Number 23-3, HS1, SS1 version is hereby adopted. Moving on, floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Last, we have Senate Resolution Number 23-28, requesting the U.S. Congress to ensure fiscal stability of the U.S. territories' Medicaid and CHIP programs. Members, I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Resolution number 23-28 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nay. Senate Resolution number 23-28 is hereby adopted.
And I know that-
Recognize Senator Jude
I know
Hoffschneider.
we adopted it already. I think this is something that, we need to chime in and give our utmost support, because everywhere in the region, especially in the Oceania region, that's associated with getting Medicaid programs, that they do support as a matter of fact, they do support removing the cap uh, in its entirety. But I wanted to commend you, Madam President, for this expression of position, and so that we can hopefully get the support that is needed, much needed here in the CNMI. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hoffschneider. Any further comments from the members? Moving on to item P under Bill Calendar. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under item P, we have Senate Bill number 23-40 to mandate CUC to promulgate human resources regulations pursuant to the Administrative Procedure Act and for other purposes. I move for passage.
There's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 23-40. It has been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Again.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hoffschneider,
Again,
Senator King Neighbors, Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mignola.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 23-40 passes the Senate. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Senate Bill number 23-64 SD1 to improve the food security of the CNMI by amending 4 CMC subsection 8182 and 8183 to establish agricultural water usage rates for commercial farmers and ranchers and for other purposes. Members, I move for its passage.
Second.
There's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 23-64 SD1 has been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Again.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hoffschneider,
Jesus Mosse, thank you. Yes.
Senator King Neighbors, Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul,
Yes.
Senator
Yes.
Mignola.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting
With
yes.
all 9 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 23-64 SD1 hereby passes the Senate. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have House Bill number 23-99 SD1 to require all vessels and/or motorboats to possess and utilize a global positioning system, GPS. Members, I move for its passage.
Second.
There's a motion to pass House Bill number 23-99 SD1. It has been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Again.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hoffschneider,
Again.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mignola.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes, House Bill number 23-99 SD1 hereby passes the Senate. I now would like to recognize the floor leader to address the last item on the calendar, and we'll go back to the second to the last item on last. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have House Bill number 23-115 HD1 HS1 SS2 or SS1 to make appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agencies, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide budget authority for government corporations for fiscal year 2025 and for other purposes. Members, I move for its passage.
Again.
There's a motion to pass House Bill number 23-115 HD1 HS1. It has been seconded. Discussions from the member? Recognize Senator Donald Manglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. Actually, before I take the floor, maybe I'll offer any member who wants to make any quick amendments. That way I can run through all my amendments as well as explain some of the items that the committee took to come up with this budget. And so I'll yield at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Manglona. I now recognize Senator Jude Hoff-Schneider.
Madam President, thank you, Chairman Manglonia, for allowing us to offer our amendments first. And this amendment that I'm offering is reflecting on Section 710 under Independent Program. Beginning on page 37, line 11 is amended to insert a new subsection F and renumber succeeding sections to read F. Cinema Scholarship Office. Of the funds appropriated to the Cinema Scholarship Office, 50,000 shall be used to fund the professional student exchange program established under 3S CMC subsection 11101. And there will also be an accompanying citation as shown in Schedule A. Furthermore, for programs and activities not specifically mentioned, the expenditure authority shall be the Secretary of Finance. And consistent with the intent of the foregoing amendments, I hereby also move to allow the legal counsel, together with the Senate clerk, to make further non-substantive technical amendments that are strictly necessary to effectuate the intent of this floor amendment prior to submittal. So move. And I ask the members for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hoff-Schneider. Is there any second to that proposed floor amendment? Seconded? Any further discussions? Ready? All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? The proposed amendment is hereby accepted. Any other amendments on the floor? Recognize Senator Selena Babauta.
Thank you, colleagues. I propose an amendment to add a new section 609, starting on page 25, line 10. And to offer a new section 609 regarding accepted service employees. And the amendment should read, the legislature recognizes that there are employees who are on accepted service contract in the government, including the municipalities. And upon renewal of an accepted service contract, the employee shall not receive a salary increase of more than 10%. This language has always been included in previous budgets, except in the last 5 to 7 years, I would say. And also consistent with the intent of the foregoing amendment, I hereby also move to allow the legal counsel, together with the Senate clerk, to make further non-substantive technical amendments that are strictly necessary to effectuate the intent of this floor amendment. Thank you. I yield.
Second.
Is there a second to the motion? Recognize Senator Jude.
Thank you, Madam President. I respectfully ask the mover to clarify further what is the the objective of this particular amendment on the floor.
Recognize Senator Selena Babauta.
Thank you. I have been receiving concerns from OPM that accepted service contract employees have been receiving more than 10%, some up to 30% increase, which is not in line with the civil service regulations, and it creates an environment of unfairness between civil service employees and accepted service employees. This does not in any way affect the civil service, and it's merely to put some gap stops in raising accepted service employees beyond what is necessary. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any further discussions from the members?
Thank you. So,
Rec-
thank you, Madam President. I want to. So, just to further understand, because I want to support the intent of this. So, for example, at any given time during the fiscal year 2025, one cannot get 10% even if it's a deserving employee. Is that what this is? Is that what this amendment is asking for?
Not necessarily. There are other statutes that simply allow for increases beyond 10%, such as the Personnel Service System Rules and Regulations. However, this only affects the contract employees. We have seen time and time again contract employees who do not have the requisite qualifications get salary increases of over 30% even. So this is merely to put a control. We are in a fiscal decline, an economic decline. And if we don't put these stopgaps here at the legislature, the executive branch is free to do as they please.
Okay, thank you, Chair, and I yield back. And I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you, Senators
You bet.
Babauta and Senator Hofschneider. Any further discussion from the members? Recognize Senator Dennis Mendiola.
Thank you, Madam President. And I just wanted to jump on Chairwoman Bauta's amendment. And really, this is not intended to attack or in any shape or form prevent the civil service aspect of getting any promotions or increase of their salary. But the intent really is to kind of capture those exempted services that are constantly getting pay increases throughout the year. So I just ask for everybody to support this, because this is really one of the things that a lot of the employees throughout the executive branch or throughout the civil service are kind of complaining about, that the performance of the work is similar. However, the pay gap is really big or really different in terms of the job being performed for that specific task. So I just ask for the members to actually support this. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Mendiola. Is there a second to that amendment on the floor?
Second.
Second, okay. All those in favor for the proposed amendment, say aye. The proposed floor amendment to include a new section 609, accepted service employees, is hereby accepted by the Senate. Any further discussions on this particular? Recognize Senator Dono Manglona.
Thank you, Madam President. And I apologize to the members. I realized I should have introduced a substitute and then add in all the amendments, but I'll go ahead and introduce a substitute inclusive of the two amendments that were made earlier to be reflected in the substitute. And at this time, Madam President, I hereby introduce a substitute version to House Bill 23-115 HD1 HS1
Second.
as amended.
There's a motion to introduce a substitute bill for House Bill number 23115 HD1 HS1 as amended, and it has been seconded. Any discussions?
Well, discussion.
Recognize Senator Paul Manglona.
Yes, so I believe that that also incorporates the amendment offered by the chairman that was passed to all the members. And this is pertaining to,
It will be a separate motion, Senator Paul.
after that?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Just to accept the substitute version and
yeah,
then
ready.
Just for record
Recognize Senator Jude Hofschneider.
Yeah, and I appreciate the chairman make mention of the two amendments that was offered earlier. I just want to make sure to on record that we do account for those two amendments so that the Senate substitute is in order. For the record, Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hofschneider, and thank you, Council, for taking note of all of those floor amendments. I now recognize Senator Dono Manglona.
can we adopt the substitute?
Okay, all those in favor say aye for the substitute version.
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? The substitute version is hereby adopted. Recognize Senator Dono Manglona.
Thank you, Madam President and members. You should have at least 4 pages in front of you, and we'll just go over each one. Starting on the one that is going to amend Section 201. And so I offer an amendment to Section 201, estimated revenues, where we are taking from DPL 5 million, or sorry, and putting into MPOT $5,566,073, and increasing and putting into DPL $2 to account for the $1 under operations that wasn't initially accounted for in the Schedule A. And so we're opening the accounts of by placing $1 under personnel and $1 under operations to have both activities active. And that will be reflected in Schedule A. The next amendment I would like to offer is on Section 711, Department of Public Lands, Section 711 is amended beginning on page 37, lines 14 through 38. And line 2 to read, pursuant to 1 CMC section 2803 of the Commonwealth Code, $5,566,075 is appropriated to the Department of Public Lands. The legislature, however, acknowledges that DPL has in its reserve account the funds for fiscal year 2025. The reserve funds shall be used by DPL in fiscal year 2025. Therefore, as shown in Schedule A of the funds appropriated to DPL for fiscal year 2025, $5,566,073 shall be remitted to the Marianas Public Land Trust. And so again, I know that this particular amendment, some members had concerns and have received calls from DPL. But for those of you who followed our committee meeting, it was clearly stated that DPL has in its reserve over $9 million that are restricted for some activities such as a homestead development, but then they have in reserve $5,566,075, and it has been a practice that in the current fiscal year they would start reserving for what they project to spend in the following fiscal year. And so what we're trying to do by this action is force DPL to get rid of that practice in reserving monies that could potentially make more money for the CNMI if remitted over to MPOT to invest. And so moving forward, just like how the government operates, in fiscal year 2026, they'll project what they'll spend and then operate based on what they collect in the preceding fiscal year. So that's the intent of this amendment, inclusive of the previous amendment of the $2 to DPL. Additionally, I would like to also amend 703, Section 703, Judicial Branch. Beginning on page 26, lines 1 through 4, to read, funds appropriated for fiscal year 2025 to the Judicial Branch shall be allotted on a quarterly basis pursuant to 1 CMC Section 7204E. The current practice for all branches is that they are given allotment, a 1 month allotment for operations, whereas the statute provides for a quarterly basis. So we're going to revert back to what's in the statute for purposes of allowing OMB to allow for the operational expenses for each entity. And this will apply to all the other branches, Section 704 and 705, to the legislative and executive branch. Additionally, under the Section 703, I would like to propose to delete in its entirety, beginning on page 26, lines 12 through 19, and everything that you see under Section E. And my proposal is to have that deleted. Lastly, Section 709, other programs, we're adding Section C, or amending Section C, beginning on page 34, lines 16 through 35. We're adding language after the last sentence, 3, legal fees and costs of litigation, including but not limited to any payments for settlements and or judgments. Of the appropriate funds under Organization Code 1188-1100 up to $650,000 shall be reserved for the Northern Marianas College for services rendered to meet the educational needs of new graduates enrolled at the NMC College, provided further that the PSS and NMC shall enter into a memorandum of agreement to authorize the use of these funds. Consistent with the intent of the foregoing amendments, I hereby also move to allow the legal counsel, together with the Senate clerk, to make further non-substantive technical amendments that are strictly necessary to effectuate the intent of these floor amendments prior to transmittal. So move.
Second.
Thank you, Senator Dono Manglona, for those proposed floor amendments. It has been seconded. Any discussions from the members? Recognize Senator Juthoff Schneider.
Madam President, if it's okay with the members, can we take a couple
Short
of minutes
recess,
break?
please. Okay, members, we're back from our short recess. So there are proposed floor amendments offered by Senator Dono Manglona and has been seconded. No further discussions, members. Recognize Senator Paul Manglona.
Madam President, my concern is just to clarify our action in passing the amendment on Section 711. And this is, I guess, trying to clarify that in the House concurrent resolution, the 5.56 million sum that was identified by DPL, actually, even though that was subsequently in the budget, our action today will be to give that to MPLT, and the language here was supposed to satisfy Public Law 15-2, which requires that the legislature appropriates to DPL their operation and personnel budgetary need every year. So I assume that that's the purpose for this administrative provision. However, the question that I have is really is this process also kind of identifying the money that they collect next year, and what reserve funds they have remaining can be actually used by DPL? Because I'm concerned with their homestead projects and other projects that the DPL now is will probably have to continue in the next fiscal year. So if the legal counsel say that this is enough and that it satisfies Public Law 15-2, then I'm fine with that. But I still see that if one looks into the budget worksheet, they only see $2 million. So the where is the other 5.5 million coming from? And what we're saying is that go ahead and use it from your reserve account. So I hope and I see our legal counsel nodding that that's the situation. So I hope that that should be sufficient. But then my other concern would be if there is no money in the reserve account, such as maybe $2 or $3 million for the ongoing projects that they need, because if there is a shortfall in the next fiscal year and they do not get up to $5.5 million, we're assuming that whatever is in the reserve funds plus whatever they collect next year should be sufficient to get the necessary $5.5 million for them to operate. So that's my only concern, because according to the secretary, and I know that, and I stand corrected because the members were here during the hearing, and they said they heard some figures about reserve funds, but in my conversation today, there might be some explanation to be had, because they're saying that finance control some of these funds and not necessarily in the hands of DPL. And so I hope that this language would allow them to request that fund be given to DPL so they can accomplish their programs. No, na clarify na concerns no concerns na niya siya homestead programs no na undergoing then a professional services and the understanding with Parks and Recs para ito siya na empleo man contract under his sumasi.
Just Masi, Senator Paul Manglona. Council, can you please provide some more clarification on the concern?
As stated in that provision, all this information is coming from DPL. The committee received it gained that knowledge from DPL, and I heard somebody said today they have 3 different bank accounts. I don't think that would be under the Secretary of Finance if it's under DPL's accounts. And they're basically submitted a budget of 5 million based on I guess, a projection that they're going to make that money, but they know that they have that money already in their bank account. So hopefully, if the concern is about homesteads, then in the next budget they should include itemize that as a budget item for homesteads and justify their budget, because it sounds like every year they're just gonna say 5 million because there's 5 million in their reserve account. Maybe if they have 6 million, they'll probably say 6 million. It sounds like, and I read a concern letter from MP, MPOT's attorney, that it sounds like MPOT is just gonna keep appropriating the maximum amount that they have in their reserve account, rather than looking at the economy and their enforcement and the number of leases that are no longer being public lands that are no longer being leased, and perhaps they should change, like modify their number of personnel doing all this work when there's less work now. uh, the intent is DPL, you have that reserve of money and for FY 2025. So we're gonna dollar fund you for operation. We're gonna dollar fund you for personnel, and you use that reserve account, because at the end of the fiscal year, this fiscal year, whatever's left, you must remit it. It's a constitutional mandate that they must remit it to MPLT. There's no such thing in the Constitution that they have that reserve account. Anything that if you budget for 5 million, anything at the end of the year, you use 5 million. If you use more than 5 million, they're violating the Budget Act. If you have anything left after 5 million, those monies have to go to MPLT. It shouldn't be kept in their account as a reserve account.
Thank you, Council, for your clarification. I recognize Senator Paul Manglonia.
Yeah, I guess we all agree with the statement by the legal counsel. The concern that we have is, I guess, for the next budget and in the future, we have to know the numbers, because that's exactly my concern. Is that if we don't really put a finger on the numbers, then we might end up short changing DPL and those projects. But I guess what you're saying is we're confident that it's more than the $5 million, like, the balance, because what I'm hearing is like they have 8 million. You take 1 million for some settlement that they're going to sign, leaving them with 7 million, and then the 5.5 today we're giving to MPLT, so they're technically with 2 million approximately in the reserve account. So if that 2 million, and if they don't collect 3 some million next year, then DPL will not get the required 5.5 million. So that's the only concern. But if we have the numbers down, then I agree totally with you that the Constitution has it that at the end of the year, you deduct all these administrative and projects and return. So we're not questioning that. I just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul Manglonia. Recognize Senator Donald Manglonia.
Thank you, President. Just to clarify, so we're not saying that we're going to take their of the 5 million that they have in reserve today is what they're reserving for next fiscal year. So what we're saying is that everything that they're going to collect next fiscal year shall be remitted over to MPOT, because they have their 5 million today for next fiscal year. So they have their whole budget set aside already, and that's what they'll use come October 1st throughout that fiscal year. And that the 5.6 that they're projecting to collect next year will all go towards MPOT. But also, just to clarify that of the monies that is reserved, the 5.6, which is equivalent to their budget submission, it accounts for the land use plan, it accounts for equipment that they propose that they'll use those monies for, it accounts for homestead development. But in addition to that, under their financial statements, they already have a restricted account of about 2 million that was already set aside for homestead development. So the 5.6 is inclusive of additional developments, additional surveying, as well as an upgrade to all their equipment, inclusive of the boat that they'll use to Manugaha. And that's, we can easily give the DPL the 5.56 right now and put that in the Schedule A, but that's unless they remit what they have right now to DPL. I mean, there's no other way to force them to remit what they have in their reserve account through the budget. And so we're doing it in a way where we can say that what they're projecting next year is what they're going to give instead. And that's why with the concurrent resolution, as I stated earlier, we're approving what they're projecting for next year. But in the budget bill, we're saying that whatever you're going to project next year and whatever you're going to collect will go directly to MPOT, because you have money today to fund next year's operations, if that makes sense.
So if that's the case, then I agree. DPL is safe and protected, because what the chairman is saying is, if next year they collect, instead of 5.6, they collect 5.1 or 6.1, whatever they collect, that is the actual amount that goes to DPL, not 5.6. And that the 5.6 that they have in the reserve is their budget. So if that's the case, then I believe they're protected, and I hope that that's ultimately what is reflected in our action. Thank you.
Thank you, Senators Donald Manglona and Senator Paul Manglona. I now recognize council. Any further comments, council? None? Okay. Members, any further comments?
So just
Recognize Senator Jude Hoff-Schneider.
just for consistency purposes, Madam Chair, Madam President, this authorization to utilize the quote unquote the reserve account, is that money in actuality, in a sense, it's there, just like a poker fee or annual casino license fee. Once that is remitted into some account in the government, it's appropriated. So that, in a sense, that's what's happening right now. And the programs and the employees are not in jeopardy in terms of their employment for the next fiscal year with this action that we're about to take.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, technically, well, if you look at the amendment, it did authorize that language, or includes a language that would authorize them to use the reserve funds for fiscal year 2025.
Okay. No, so yeah, so
So
just
it's
we
like
give some.
appropriating it already out of their reserve account.
That's correct.
For next
And
fiscal year.
I thank you that for clarifying that, Mr. Chairman, and for the viewing public, and for especially for the employees and the programs and the Department of Public Lands. This is not in any way, shape, or form would defund the DPO. As a matter of fact, it's just clarifying that there is such a funding source to continue with their operations as mandated by 15.2 into fiscal year 2025. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now you back, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator Jude Hoff-Schneider. Any further comments? I recognize Senator Dennis Mendiola.
I thank you, Madam President. Already it was clarified. So
Thank you, Senator Dennis Mendiola. Any further comments from the members? Ready? Okay, members. So there is Senator Donald Manglona offered 6 floor amendments, and it has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? All 6 amendments offered by Senator Donald Manglona is hereby adopted. Now I recognize the floor leader to make the proper motion for the. I recognize Senator Donald Manglona.
Sorry, Madam President. Just additional comments. The earlier one, just to introduce the amendments. But if you may allow me to just go over some of the actions that the committee took.
You may
to
proceed.
summarize the budget. Thank you. So there are several amendments that were made just to get rid of the portions that was vetoed by the governor in the current fiscal year, and so those were a lot of the technical amendments made. However, just to add on and to summarize the actions that we took, starting on section 203, we added the sections D and E that basically provides for additional penalties, if you will, in the event that these expenditure authority fails to report to the legislature. Uh, and so we just added that there shall be a violation, or in the event there is a violation, that the Secretary of Finance shall be the salary shall be suspended for 30 days, and that's also similar language to what we indicated in the current budget. Section 301, we just finalized the figures, the ceiling for all autonomous agencies. The House version did not have submissions from several entities, and so they their figures weren't included in the House's version. OMB is aware that this is a late submission and that they should be cited $5,000 for failure to submit on time. So just informational purposes there, so that these entities can submit the budget in April 1st of each fiscal year. Section 303, we included and we made clear that no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 303, that entities that are receiving general fund money shall report to the legislature. This portion was vetoed in the current year because some of these informations are not available to the secretary, and so we are requiring the expenditure authorities for these other entities to report to the legislature how general fund monies are spent. Section 403, the House did not include language that the Senate had worked on in the current fiscal year, and so we just wanted to put a footnote there as to how the sick leave and donated leaves are calculated based on an individual salary. So we're just maintaining that provision. It wasn't included in the House's version. Section 603C, salary cap. We added the DLNR. Unfortunately, under the current statute, unlike all the other secretaries, it was DLNR that was kind of left out of the mix in terms of the salaries for all entity or all other secretaries that are the heads of these agencies. And at the time, it was Director of Land and Natural Resources, but now that position has evolved, and so we just wanted to make it coincide with the other secretaries. Section 608, we added a new provision in that whenever a position becomes vacant, these funds shall be used for operations otherwise, and that these positions will be closed out, which means they'll be zeroed out and not included in the preceding year's budget request. However, if an agency would like to fill that vacancy, they would have to submit to the legislature a request to approve these vacancies, subject to an approval by joint resolution, similarly to how the process is right now, where we have a joint resolution to approve any new FTEs. 705 basically mentions that particularly DFEMS and DPS, seeing as how there are federal funds that help support their operations, as well as revolving funds, they are authorized to use these additional resources to pay for any overtimes that may be incurred in the following fiscal year. And this language is also reflected in the first and second senatorial district in terms of allowing those entities to use these other resources that are not identified in this budget act to use to pay for any overtime. And then we just wanted clarification on Medicaid, which Medicaid provided additional language just to correct the terms of their division, the names of those divisions. And that the revolving fund accounts, and I hope I make this clear because it seems like a lot of agencies were not familiar, or they weren't sure of how that works in the current fiscal year. They didn't know that they can use the revolving fund accounts for all other purposes. And it's not limited to the statute. And so we're continuing the suspension for these entities to allow for them to utilize their revolving fund accounts to pay for other operational needs that are not addressed in this budget. And then if you look at the schedule, under MPLT and DPL, we amended the original version to ensure that we include $1 under DPL's operations. Earlier it was zeroed out, so we have $1 under personnel to keep the account open. We have $1 under operations to keep the account open. In the event that their reserve accounts are not sufficient to cover operational needs, these accounts are left open so that the administration, seeing as how this is a line agency, could be funded by the administration remitting additional funds to that entity, and that the 5.6 million that DPL projects to receive will go directly to MPOT at the end of the fiscal year. And just to briefly share that the information that I received from MPOT is that, had DPL remit those funds in the beginning of the year, whatever is reserved, we could have realized at most $500,000 that could be interest income that could further quickly pay down the MPLT loan, and that money could be available for other uses to help fund other operational needs. But here we are today. We're trying to get rid of that reserve, the habit of reserving funds, and so we're authorizing them to use that now to pay for their fiscal year 2025 needs, and that moving forward, they will operate the same way the CNMI government operates, and that it will only be dependent upon when their land lease payments are received, and that if they're short on their the land leases collection, then they would also have to cut down on their costs. And so those are the substantive amendments that the committee had made. And if there's any questions from the members, I'd be happy to answer them and clarify it for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Donald Maglonia. Any other comments from the members? Ready? Okay, so the proposed 6 amendments on the floor by Senator Donald Maglonia has been offered and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays. All 6 floor amendments offered by Senator Donald Maglonia is hereby adopted. Now I recognize the floor leader to make the proper motion for the passage of the bill.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I offer a motion to pass HB number 23-115 HD1 HS1 SS2. So moved.
There's a motion to pass House Bill number 23115 HD1 HS1 SS2 and has been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
I'm good.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
I'm good.
Senator King Neighbors, Senator Maglonia,
Yes.
Senator Maglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Maglonia Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mindiola,
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes, House Bill number 23-115 HD1 HS1 SS2 version hereby passes the Senate. I now recognize the floor leader for item number 4 on the bill calendar.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, members, I offer a motion to pass HB number 23-74 HD1 SS1 to impose a 3% tax on certain construction activities and for other purposes. So moved.
There's a motion to pass House Bill number 23-74 HD1 SS1, and it has been seconded. Any comments from the members before we take a vote? I would like to make a comment before we take a roll call on this particular legislation, just so that we reflect back on financial activities or concerns of the government. And for the record, we have sent 3 communications to the Secretary of Finance for revenue collections on the Tinian economic activities. July 28, 2024, on revenue estimates on Tinian for FY 22, 23, 24, and FY 25 as well. We have not received any response. And on August 5th, 2024, another request for the same information was sent. And a third one was also sent on August 9, 2024. And to date, we have yet to receive a response. Members, why this is necessary is because we want to know how much the revenues were estimated versus the actual collections as of June 30 on FY 22, and to compare it to the same period, and likewise to compare subsequent fiscal years with the same period leading to FY 25. Fiscal 24 analyses alone on revenues collected as of July 31st, 2024, and annualized for the last 10 months of FY 24. The revenues as analyzed for this time period came up to approximately $11.4 million. So in comparing the annualized collection for FY 24 to the actual collection of FY 23, the revenue increased by 193%. Looking back to FY 22 and FY 23, an increase of revenue of 114% was realized. These analyses on these fiscal years on Tina Municipality economic activities provides us the opportunity to increase the current FY 25 budget ceiling of $158 million by a safe margin of $6 million to increase its FY 25 budget ceiling. FY 24 projection was $160 million, but in FY 25 it went down by $5 million or 4%, which does not agree with the economic revenues analyzed on the economic revenue activities on Tinian, showing significant increases in excise tax and BGRT revenues. Tax increases is not the right time to impose when we know that there are revenue activities being realized in at least one municipality, here being Tinian for the military build-up. Tax increases will only ultimately impact the ordinary consumers, the people who are already suffering and can barely afford their families' bare necessities. Tax increases on a depressed economy when businesses are still not at pre-pandemic levels should not be the answer to the government's lack of financial management and economic initiatives to generate fresh revenue to fund its programs like the group health life insurance, medical referral, the 25% for the retirees' pension, operations funding for the government, and the list goes on unfunded programs to include land compensation outstanding of $35.4 million. Hopefully, all of these revenues, we would hope to see a supplemental budget submitted to the legislature so that we could address the financial shortfalls from the revenues that are being realized from the second senatorial district on the military build-up activities. Additionally, I've always pushed for leveraging of our client relationship with our banking partners. The government is one of the largest client of the banks here in the Commonwealth. And for the people of the Commonwealth, we have a bank that has declared its dividend of $50 per share for the holders of its common stock, and a dividend payment to the holders of the company's 7.08% floating rate non-cumulative preferred stock Series A. These dividends were paid out on March 31st, 2023 to the shareholders of record as of March 15, 2023. $50 per share is a huge amount of money for the amount of shares being held by the shareholders. Yet we are a huge client of the banking industry here in the Commonwealth. We need to learn to leverage our client relationship on a better on a better level so that we could get something better from the bank so that we could address our financial shortfalls. With respect to all the financial discussions and lack of money and to push for a tax legislation, we need to be reminded that we received a letter from the administration on July 1st, 2024. And on the paragraph, it says the administration's commitment to the public school system involves a revision to the proposed budget that requires reallocating funds from the executive branch to PSS, further reducing personnel costs by $5.36 million and costs to other programs. Although executive branch personnel are funded by the general fund at approximately 60 hours, the current austerity work schedule of 70 hours will be maintained by using the recouped ARPA monies funds that will subsidize the personnel funding gap to the executive branch. These are the statements from the administration. And imposing tax on the private sector, who is actually the ones producing the revenues for the Commonwealth, is just not the right time. And so I end my comments on that. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Yes.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
I'm good.
Senator King Neighbors, Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mindiola,
No.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Madam President,
No.
Madam President, 7 members voting yes, 2 members voting no.
With 7 members voting yes, 2 voting no, House Bill number 23-74, HD1, SS1 hereby passes the Senate. Moving on to item Q, recognize the clerk.
Madam President, we have one on our agenda, 23225.
Any comments from the members? None? Moving on to item R, announcements. Members, any announcements? Recognize Senator Dono Maglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. First off, I just want to thank the Fiscal Affairs Committee, the staff that assisted the committee. We have Jolyn, Devin, our counsel, Joe Bermudez, our Sergeant at Arms, Ben Terlahi, John De Leon Guerrero, IT, Del Camacho, Jonathan Diaz, our fiscal analyst who did a lot of the legwork, Dave Demapon, as well as Jolyn, not to discredit her work, but she worked tirelessly, even getting emails at 2 a.m. Thank you, Jolyn. Chanel, and all the staff that have assisted the committee in putting this the budget bill together, as well, and in addition to the agencies that came forth and presented their needs. You know, it's very unfortunate that we are unable to address a lot of the requests that were provided. We do hope, and we are hopeful that the construction tax bill, if it gets signed into law, could realize additional revenues, and that the administration can project for next fiscal year, and hopefully fund the needs of the agencies if that comes through. But all in all, thank you to all the members, Senators Karina, Selena, Carl, Jude, Senators Paul, Dennis, and also Senator Cruz and Madam President. Thank you for your inputs into this budget bill, and we hope that the House agrees with the actions that we have made, have taken. And also, in addition to, or side and separate, I just want to invite the Rota community to listen in on our delegation session scheduled for this Thursday, tomorrow. I know a lot of concerns were brought about the recent investments made with the Rota Casino Gaming Commission. There are a lot of answers that we aren't able to provide, and so we're going to use tomorrow's delegation session to get answers from our commissioners and see what plans we have in store for the municipality and provide our support. The investor did make a deposit that the delegation will later address in a separate session, but just to invite the community of Rota to come out to the Rota Mayor's office at 1:30 to hear from their commissioners on the progress that's coming down the pipeline. And so with that, thank you again, members. Madam President, I yield at this time.
Thank you, Senator Dono Maglonia. Any other announcements from the members? None. I now recognize the floor leader for the adjournment of the session.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I offer a motion to adjourn this session
Second.
subject to the call of the president.
There's a motion to adjourn. The session has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays. This session is hereby adjourned. Thank you, senators.